everyone, Lou here. With the spring anime season in full swing, one anime I've been hyped as shit to see every week is the new Black Butler anime. If you're new here, I love Black Butler and I consider myself kind of a Black Butler channel, so let's review this new Black Butler anime. Black Butler Public School Arc is the fourth storyline in the Book of reboot of Black Butler. Although for some reason it's labeled as Season 4, yeah, Black Butler's anime adaptations is weird, because after Season 2, the Book of series was filed under Season 3 rather than being a separate reboot. No clue why this wasn't called Book of Public School either, but I guess the Book of title scheming wasn't catching on. Just so everyone gets an easy answer, Season 1 and 2 are largely just fanfiction because Yana didn't write enough of the manga yet for a proper adaptation, so Season 3 and onward are actually a proper adaptation of the manga. I know, super weird. For those who want a full proper watch order, I did a YouTube short and TikTok about this, so it'll be linked down below. Anyway, unlike all previous projects of Black Butler, A1 Pictures handed the project over to Cloverworks, who have been slowly rebuilding quite the reputation of largely faithful and gorgeously stylized adaptations, like Spy Family, the first season of The Promised Neverland, and Horimiya. Though it should be stated that Cloverworks isn't entirely a separate studio, as A1 Pictures largely owns Cloverworks, so it's more like a sister studio than a separate one that they collaborate with. I had a bit of trouble finding the actual director, but I believe it was directed by Kenjiro Okada, who was an episode director for the Monogatari series and Magia Record. The anime has been highly praised for its gorgeous animation and fantastic pacing of the original manga. I haven't really seen any proper criticisms beyond some events being only very slightly out of order, and a filler arc being excluded that was actually really important later on. Now, the public school arc was largely a heavily divisive arc among Black Butler fans. Coming off of the massively popular luxury liner arc, it was a hard one to top until the Green Witch arc and later the Blue Memories arc. So the public school arc was originally largely disliked by fans back in the day. Back in the day, a large reason why the public school storyline was disliked was because back then it felt like a filler after the massive lore drops of the luxury liner arc. Obviously, we know now that it wasn't, when this arc ends with another lore drop and certain characters appear again in another very important storyline. But back then, it felt like it, especially when manga chapters were releasing once a month, so it all just kind of felt like a crawl to get through. Much like the Blue Revenge storyline going on right now, though the difference is that pages are much shorter compared to the previous arcs before, as Yana has been working on Twisted Wonderland the last few years, so she has to divide her time between Black Butler and Twisted Wonderland. Obviously, those opinions have changed looking back, because obviously the public school arc is no longer in a slow crawl publication, so let's take a look at the story. I will be spoiling only the first 4 episodes, as I want to keep this both a surprise as well as not much releasing at the time I'm writing this. Alright, let's get started. Quickly mentioned, a Easter filler chapter released after the luxury liner arc finished that was just about Ciel and a few other characters on an Easter egg hunt for Elizabeth. Many viewed this as just a silly Black Butler filler, but an important thing mentioned is Elizabeth points out that Ciel doesn't remember things he should, and wonders what the hell happened during his disappearance for an entire month. Okay, so back to the actual story at play. I just wanted to mention it because it actually is super important later on. Ciel is asked by the Queen to investigate a prestigious academy named Weston College because her great-nephew went missing along with several other students. If I'm wrong on the nephew part, forgive me, because royal families are a pain to remember the lineage. The reason why is because back in the Victorian era, schools were isolated from the police and government intervention, so they can't investigate the missing students. So it's up to Ciel to investigate and find out what the hell happened to these students. Except it's not easy because this school has heavy rules and regulations, so he has to entangle himself in the politics of the school. This includes trying to get close to the dorm leaders of all 4 houses, because we all know Yana was clearly inspired by Harry Potter with this one. I mean, I can't be the only one who sees it, right? Anyway, these dorm leaders are called prefects, and because there's only 4 houses, they're called the Prefect 4. We have Edgar Redmayne, Edmund, head of the Scarlet Fox House, which is a house that's specifically for royal and extremely high-ranking nobles such as dukes, marquises, and counts. Lawrence Bluer, head of the Sapphire Owl Dorm, pretty much the dorm for people who excel in academics. It's basically the Ravenclaw of Weston College. Herman Greenhill, head of the Green Lion Dorm, where all students excel in sports and physical activity. If you're familiar with Twisted Wonderland, it's basically Savannah Claw. And finally, my personal favorite, Gregory Violet, head of the Violet Wolf Dorm, where all students excel in the arts. Because this is basically filled with a bunch of art and music nerds, everyone there is known for being kind of fucking weird, and I'm here for it. With Ciel in the Sapphire Owl Dorm, he has to investigate the other houses through any means he can. This means inviting Prince Soma to the school to investigate the Scarlet Fox Dorm for him, and trying to pry information out of Edward Mitford, Elizabeth's older brother who's in the Green Lion Dorm. Everyone has always said this story goes by pretty quickly in terms of obstacles, and that much is true, but it is a lot shorter because Ciel is a master manipulator in his home turf, compared to the Green Witch arc and other future storylines where he's just really out of his element. Like, particularly, people always point out how quickly Maurice Cole was taken care of, and I mean, it's stated by Sebastian himself that he has a similar personality to Ciel, so of course Ciel is gonna know how to get rid of someone so similarly to himself. You know, that actually kind of foreshadows that the only person to ever take down Ciel is, well, himself. Funny how Black Butler secretly foreshadows itself a lot like that. Another thing this anime does is admittedly place certain events very slightly out of order, but it's not really a big deal. It's more for dramatic effect, so we get a flashback of someone saying something so we can be shocked by it when it flashes forward, you know? It also adds some slight things just to explain certain details Yana couldn't put in due to obviously paneling structure of a manga in the first place. My biggest example is when Ciel threw the lantern at the Violet Wolf dorm in hopes of bringing out all the students. People pointed out that Ciel's little sickly Victorian child arms wouldn't have had the strength to throw it that far, so the anime added in that it was Sebastian who actually kicked it mid-air to hit the dorm. I actually really like that kind of attention to detail, and to me it shows they really put a lot of care into this anime. I can see why it took so long as it did to release it, because they put so much effort into it. The only thing that makes me uncomfortable is just the weird fan service. I get it, you know, teenagers, the ages of the students are reading Black Butler, and this was when Yana was still in her yaoi shota fan service era, but I still could have gone without that, you know, especially when Sebastian and Ciel shippers have been making a comeback for this series, and it just gives me the ick. That's all I have to say on the story because I don't want to spoil anything or the whole thing, but this adaptation is doing a phenomenal job with the story. Holy fuck, the animation is gorgeous. Cloverworks must have took the budget from The Promised Neverland Season 2 and Wonder Egg Priority to fund this, because this animation is fucking beautiful, and the art style is a wonderful homage to Yana's current art style. The lighting is natural and very soft, but it isn't like Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card, where the soft bloom is so bad that it makes the series look almost a little blurry or to hide a flat color palette. My favorite detail this season is the eyes. Everyone has really soft eyes, especially lashes. I love fluffy anime lashes, and everyone here really brought their mascara game to a whole new level. It just looks so pleasing. I also appreciate how young Ciel, Maurice, Joanne, and Macmillan look too, because they are all under the age of 15, so of course they're all gonna have baby faces. They also added some new details Yana put in her artwork with Sebastian and Ciel, mainly the details that Sebastian actually has really tiny fangs, which I think is super adorable. I don't know, I love when characters have little quirks like fangs, birthmarks, unique pupils, and more. So Sebastian with fangs is just a really lovely touch to me that it makes Sebastian all the more unique to me. Though I have to critique that Soma and Agni's coloring is definitely lighter than it should be. I know it's not my place to say because obviously I'm not of Indian descent, just that it's a little weird that Soma's skin color is so light when previous anime productions did it pretty alright. I don't know, this is a Sailor Pluto situation to me, so like it's a little weird. Like I get this is a brighter, softer style, so everyone is gonna look paler, but I think you could still have darker skin in a softer style. Just a little weird to me, and I was very surprised poor Soma got the Sailor Pluto treatment. Overall, the animation is gorgeous and a solid 10 out of 10 from me, but I do wish they could have done better in terms of characters with darker skin tones. Unlike the other dubs, this is the first Black Butler dub made under Crunchyroll since they acquired and absorbed Funimation. I was a little worried there would be a change, but I'm glad it's exactly the same with the original cast for existing characters largely returning. With the exception of Prince Soma's voice actor, as he sadly passed away a few years ago, so he was replaced by Abi Kumar. What's crazy to me is that this is his first major voice acting role when he's done such a fantastic job as Prince Soma. I checked out his Twitter and I'm glad to see he's a fan of the character too. I really love when anime voice actors are a fan of the character they're voicing. The British accents are a little better this time around and a little more authentic, but remember this is Black Butler, so it isn't by much. Some do a really good British accent, while others, I'm gonna be real with you guys, I don't notice an accent at all. Particularly Johanna Garris, it was more hard to notice an accent, but I guess it's kinda there. Some characters also have different accents, particularly Macmillan with a Scottish accent, which surprised me. I don't know why, I wasn't expecting Macmillan to be super Scottish for some reason. I was also hoping Cheslock, one of my favorite Weston characters next to Gregory, would have a Cockney accent like Joker in the circus arc, because I mean he's supposed to be eccentric and not from a well-off family from the way he speaks, but surprisingly not. I'm also really proud to see Jonas Scott as Herman Greenville, mainly because I've seen Jonas Scott since he was doing dubs as Jean in Attack on Space and the Attack on Titan fan dub community on Tumblr, so I was really happy to see voice actors like him come a long way and get in bigger and bigger projects. The script is also pretty good, though they did make one change I think is okay, just because it can be taken out of context very quickly. The prefects have a servant little brother system where the boy basically next in line to be the prefect when they graduate does their chores and help with their homework. This was called the F slur in the original because in British speech this word means friend or the end of something, especially in the Victorian era England where this word largely connotated with friendship. In America, obviously this word has a negative connotation towards the LGBTQ+ community. And since obviously mostly Americans watch Black Butler, the word could be easily taken out of context even with 10,000 anecdotes on the screen. This word was changed to drudges in the dub, which means doing hard work or monotonous work, which I guess makes more sense to the position, but does seem less kinda historically accurate. I'd rather lose historical accuracies though if it means we don't have to deal with a real gray area in the Black Butler community, you know? Overall, the English dub is pretty good. Yes, the accents are largely not genuine, but you know, it has been worse in Black Butler. There were also some terms and words changed, but I think we all can agree this was for the better, considering a lot of people don't know British terms, especially Victorian ones, unless they're nerds like me. I am in love with this new Black Butler anime, from its art style, story, English dub. I really hope everyone gives this anime a chance. I know everyone wants the more action-packed stuff for Black Butler, like a sinking ship or the hype of the Green Witch arc, but this is genuinely a really good arc. If you'd like to support the series yourself, it's available only on Crunchyroll, but I don't really know if this will be available on other streaming platforms in the future. I just doubt Netflix, since Netflix is really weird and flip-flops between having seasons 1 and 2 and just season 2 for some reason. What do you guys think of the school arc or even just this anime? I love it, but as always, let me know down below what you think. Hey guys, thanks for watching! If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new. If any of you would like to help support my channel in any possible way, my Ko-fi page is down below in the description, along with all of my social media. For any subscribers, new or old, who'd like to help with video ideas, or maybe just want to talk about anime or something, I have a fan server linked down below. See you next time!